Disney's adaptations of fairy tales have been bringing a little magic to our childhoods since their first animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. However, whether it is Hans Christian Andersen's heartbreaking ending in The Little Mermaid, or the devastating despair of Cinderella's stepsisters in the Grimm brothers' story, the stories that inspired the movies are often much darker than our favorite childhood movies. So let's take a look at the dark and disturbing stories and fairy tales that inspired Disney classics. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was Disney's first animated film and has become an undisputed classic since its release in 1937. The film is a fairly faithful retelling of the fairy tale that appeared in the Brothers Grimm anthology, with one exception. While the film ends with the prince waking Snow White with a kiss and taking her to his castle, the original story shows the evil queen attending the wedding later, where she is recognized by the prince and forced to dance in a pair of red-hot iron sandals, literally till she falls. Ouch.
Damn.
Cinderella. This Disney animated classic offers fun for the whole family, with singing mice,
Cinderella, Cinderella,
a good fairy godmother, and a beautiful dress. In the Brothers Grimm version, however, Cinderella still gets her happily ever after, but her evil stepsisters get a much bloodier reward.
It fits.
After one sister tried to make the prince believe that she was his true love by cutting off her toes to put it in Cinderella's shoes, the other tried the same trick. Cinderella and the prince were reunited and happily married, with Cinderella's dove friends gouging out her stepsister's eyes as post-wedding entertainment. Sleeping Beauty. The story of Aurora in Disney's Sleeping Beauty closely follows the story included in their collection by Brothers Grimm, a story based on a version by French author Charles Perrault. However, the first published version by Giambattista Basile took a much darker turn. A king was passing by the house of Sleeping Beauty, here named Talia, where his falcon flew into the house. Going into the house to get the bird, he met the unconscious woman and picked the first fruits of love, leaving her still unconscious and pregnant with twins. Frozen. The original story of Frozen appears in Hans Christian Andersen's The Classic Fairy Tale, but while Frozen is a powerful story about brotherhood and learning not to be afraid of one's strength, the real Frozen has a much darker beginning, but an equally happy ending.
Yeah, why?
In Frozen, the devil creates a magic mirror that shows humans the evil and ugly aspects of themselves. When the mirror broke, the fragments entered the eyes and the hearts of people around the world, causing their hearts to freeze. Years later, a shard caught the eye of a boy named Kai, causing him to become cruel and reject his grandmother and best friend, Gerda, making him an easy target for the Snow Queen to enchant and imprison. When he disappeared, Kai was said to have fallen into the river and died, but Gerda was certain that he was alive and set out on an epic quest to save him. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is based on the fairy tale of the same name by Jean-Marie Le Prince de Beaumont, who actually shortened and rewrote the story by Gabriel Suzanne Barbet de Villeneuve. In Beaumont's version, Belle had 5 siblings, and when she arrives at the Beast's castle, she is informed that she is the mistress there and that the Beast will obey her.
Get out!
No!
Get out!
She goes home for a week, and her sisters plan to keep her there longer to anger the Beast and make him eat Belle. She then returned to the castle and found him about to die, so she brought him back to life. There are living objects around the castle, but they're not as cheerful and useful as the objects in Disney's stories, but at the same time, Belle is kind, cultured, and pure of heart. Mulan. Mulan is based on the Chinese legend of Mulan. There are many versions, but they all maintain the basic premise of a young woman disguising herself as a man to replace her father as a soldier. Mulan spends 12 years in the army and refuses an official position, instead asking for a camel to take her home.
With all due respect, Your Excellency, I think I've been away from home long enough.
However, in Chu Renhua's version, titled Romance of Sui and Tang, Mulan returns to her hometown to discover that her father has passed away, her mother has remarried, and Khan has summoned her to be his concubine. Mulan commits suicide and leaves a letter for her fiancé. Aladdin. Aladdin is a folktale that, although not part of the original text of the Book of 1001 Nights, is often associated with it. The story has changed a lot with each retelling, but at its core, the story of a poor young man named Aladdin is in the town of China. He is recruited by a wizard who wants to help him retrieve an oil lamp from a magical cave. Aladdin is betrayed by the sorcerer, but when he puts on the sorcerer's magic ring, he rubs it and releases a genie who helps him escape from the cave. The lamp contains a second, more powerful genie released by Aladdin's mother during the cleaning process. It was this genie who helped him become rich and marry Princess Badrul Badur. It's easy to understand why she was changed to Jasmine. A conflict arose between the sorcerer and Aladdin, each of whom possessed a genie, but Aladdin eventually defeated him and subsequently became Sultan. The princess is not present as much in the story as Disney gives her importance. Rapunzel. From Disney's Tangled is a modern-day heroine who emerges from her tower to explore the outside world and get into a whole lot of trouble along the way. In the original story, she had an even harder time having her hair cut off and thrown into the desert when the witch who imprisoned her learned that a prince was visiting her at night. When the prince returns, the witch pushes him up the tower with Rapunzel's cut hair, then pushes him out of the tower. He went blind in the fall and wandered the wilderness until he found Rapunzel and the twins she gave birth to, guided by her beautiful voice. The tears of happiness that Rapunzel cried restores the prince's sight, and they live happily ever after. If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel for more videos like this one.